Early this morning, around like 1 or so, 2 this morning, I made a video. I said I was going to show the the targets of what I was speaking to in the video. So this is my son's target. This was his first time shooting my AR. And as you can see, if a 13-year-old kid can pick up an AR and just tack drive them like this, then you know it's pretty well dialed in. One thing you'll see here from these targets, you'll see the adjustment that I know I need to make is just to go ahead and bring it over 1 mil click to the left, because you'll see the pattern of being off to the right. So this was like I said, my 13-year-old son. This is his first target. This one was at the 25-yard line, and I was pretty pleased, and so was he. You see the video on my YouTube channel where his actual first 3 shots were in the red bullseye. Now this shot here, this one was my shot from a couple months earlier. I had taken this out, put it at the 200, and took one shot to see where I was at. It was a little low, and so I left it. So this one shot was on there, which was me. But everything else other than this one shot is all him. And as you can see in the video, he's pretty excited. Like his first 2 shots, I believe this was his first shot right here that he had ever taken with the AR. And then his second one was like here. But this is actually his first group was this one, these two, and this one here. And so there it is. That was my son's first range, but we actually have this hung up on his bedroom dresser on the mirror, with his name tag from the sportsman club that we were at. And that's what that red dot thing is, this little sticker that we use to hang it to. So, I mean, father like son, my son's tag driving, so it's pretty cool. That was a pretty cool experience. So let me move on to another target. And these targets are relative to the video I made last night. So, where I show you, like I say, I just need to adjust it to the left. Now, this is my target here. Let me see if I turn the light on. Get a little bit more light. All right, this is at the 100. This is when I told you I purchased the new scope mount rings with the cantilever, and it just cleared up all the issues that I were having. This is at the 100, and you see that grouping. I mean, you can't ask for too much more. Now, at the 200, they did spread out a little. And like I said, this was just sighting in. I didn't make any adjustments. This was just sighting in my backyard. You've seen the videos, like I said, where I have 104 feet across my lawn, back lawn, where I sight in at. And taking that sight in and then going to the range and actually applying it to paper, you can see with the proper sighting in techniques, you can get on paper, and you can get pretty damn accurate, So this was just with a bore sighter at I think sighted in at the 36 yard, 36 yard or 36 meter actually, 0 military 36 to 300 rough sight in using a bore sighter, and as you can see, this is at the 100. Groups are pretty good to give you a better idea of how tight this group is. I'll put a lighter there. Now that gives you an idea, or for a better reference, this is what they call in a 100-yard sight-in target. As you can see, each one of these squares is an inch. So if you look at 100 yards, my most northern shot is here, and my most lowest shot is here. That's 2 inches. This would represent, so everybody talks about, the MOA. What does your rifle shoot, MOA? And not even having it precisely dialed in, I have a 2 MOA, really less than that, because if you look at these, how, like right here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this little section here, which isn't even a half inch. This was so you're talking like they say that you can't get this type of precision out of these rifles. They're a fucking lie. Remember, I said I wanted to. My thing was to take a standard rifle, something like I say, and get accuracy out of it of something take a $500, $600, $700 rifle and see if you can add some accessories to it and get it to perform like a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 rifle. So for the people on the budget, kind of like our fishing club that we started back in 2011, which was Master Bassers, and our mission statement was we were fishermen on a budget. We couldn't afford the $25,000 tracker boat, bass boat, and the $60,000, $70,000 truck to pull it, and $10,000 to $15,000 worth of gear. But we wanted to be very precise anglers, on a budget. So this is what I carried this over to the shooting. And so, like I was saying, these are 1-inch squares here. These are 1-inch squares. So this is less than a 1-inch MOA rifle, easily. And it's completely not, it's not even tuned and dialed all the way in. And like I said, this is with a rough zero using a bore sighter. So when you can get these type of results, if we look, this is within a 4-inch, all these shots minus this one shot here, which is a bullseye, but all four of these, all these shots, which I think I took 15 shots, 3 groups of 5. All these shots are within this 4-inch grid here. So, we're talking, like I said, the size of a lighter. So at 100 yards, and this is less than that, so that's not even half the length of a lighter. At half the length of a lighter, which, as we can see, the tip of my finger, I put 15 shots in that small grouping at 100 yards. Football field. Kill shot. Like, you can actually target, that. So we'll put it in perspective. If, say, this is the bullseye where I'm aiming, I'm actually aiming dead center. And say if this was the eyeball, and I hit this with his less than 2 inches over, you do the math. If you're aiming dead brow, right between the eyebrow, right here, and I miss to the right by 1 inch to 2, that's still taking your fucking head off. Okay, anyways. If you are looking for a kill shot on a deer, which is right behind that hind corner, and I aim here and I hit 2 inches over, that is a precise heart shot. I will hit the heart of a deer, drop him at 100 yards. So, like I was saying, as you can see with my son's target, so it's just not me, he is off to the right as well. So this is giving me confirmation that I need to bring her over to the right. See, a majority of his groupings, he does have a couple shots over here on the left side, but this right quadrant, you can see where they're all bunched in. Like, there is no paper right there. He's blew a hole through. So you can imagine how many rounds he put through this hole here to tear that paper out like that. And then he has another one right here and then another one there. But yeah, so this right here is at least 20 shots, 30 shots to tear that paper out like that. Just putting them right on top of each other. But so what I was saying is, you can see that I just need to go. I think the scope that we shot it out of, it's at 100 yards. 1 click is 1/4 of an inch. 1 click at 100 yards is 1/4 of an inch. So I just need to go ahead and bring it over 2 clicks, maybe 3, no more than 4. 4 clicks would bring me over 1 inch, and that'll put me over here. So like 2 clicks basically. So yeah. So 1 click on my turret on my scope brings me over 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna take this grouping here. So this was actually one, two, three, four, five. Um, I think there's a sixth one in there. But this grouping here is the one I'll use. To bring that here, we're looking at 1.5 click, but um, I tell you the truth, it's a new scope. I just purchased it this year. I'm not definitive if I get half clicks out of it, but I know 2 clicks would bring me over half an inch, and so that should put me dead on right here. Possibly one. 2 clicks would put me dead on. Um, the reason why I say no more than that is because I have to take in consideration I do have these here, which are this is about a half an inch out the bullseye. This is about 3/4 inch from the bullseye ring. This is less than about a quarter of an inch. So that's why I say 1 to 2 clicks puts me right in bullseye. So I don't know if you've seen the other targets I've done. You can see my progression coming along is coming back. I've been out the saddle for quite some time in shooting sports, and I'm getting back where I need to be. So this is with my tactical compact scope. That's on the AR. So my mission of trying to achieve high-end precision out of a budget rifle, it can be done. You don't have to spend all that money, guys. You really don't. You really don't to get that precision. And remember, that same concept of a budget rifle is the same thing that I've carried over in the accessories that have been put onto the rifle. Budget, budget, budget. So some of these companies that offer you a fair value price for a remarkable product does work. It does work, guys. So let me move on to another target. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to my 200-yard target with my AR. You can see it open up a little bit. Now, this is my 200-yard target with the AR. So this one was at 200 yards. You can see I'm off to the right. That's one thing this is why I like to keep my targets, and so that you can study, get some analysis off it. I am a little higher than what you've seen on this one here, but at 200 yards, you can understand 2 football fields. And like I say, and I'm shooting at a scope that is a 1-to-6 power, which is pretty much deemed to be a 100-yard rifle. 100-yard scope, and I'm at 200, so I'm like 100 yards beyond what they say that the scope will do pretty well. So this is at the 200 yards, y'all, and you can see I'm off to the right a little bit. Now the elevation of being a little high, that's not the scope. That's going to be the user. That's me being a little high. And when I say high, I'm talking about from the bullseye. And like I said, this is at 200 yards. So we can see the pattern continue of being off to the right. So what to clean this up is, like I say, 2 clicks brings me a half inch over. Actually, it'll change at the 200. At the 100, it's a quarter click, quarter inch. 1 click for a quarter inch movement. At 200 yards, 1 click for a half inch. So that's why I say I only wanted to move it about 1 click, because this will bring me over a half inch. And this is the part I was talking about cleaning up and dialing it in, where I can eventually get everything in here. But at 200 yards, y'all, give you an idea again. Like I say, this is 1-inch groups, 1-inch squares. From the top, my most northern impact, to my most southern, we're going to just count them out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 inches from my highest shot to my lowest shot. 7 inches, which basically we can see is about my hand, starting down here below my thumb to the tip of this middle finger. So at 200 yards, you put that hand on your chest. At my most northern shot is at the tip of my finger, and my lowest shot is about the knuckle right here of my hand. So 200 yards. Is that safe to say that I can hit what I need to hit at? Now, mind you, at the 200 yard, where I spent a lot of my time was at the 200 yard, they have a steel gong out there. And that steel gong, is a 6x6. And so it's 6x6. So basically it's about the size of this orange bullseye. And it's a steel gong that gives you the audible sound of impact. I was shooting at that and having damn good fun and making it, ring out. And this isn't with the best ammunition. This right here, y'all, is just basic 55 grain ball. Nothing fancy, just target loads. So you figure in with me dialing in the scope to a little bit more of a precise dial in, as well as if I was to upgrade the ammunition. I mean, shit. I can only imagine the groupings that I would get. But like I say, you see, at the 200, it carries on to the right. So the minor adjustment of a couple 2 mil dots at best to bring everything over, I'm happy with it. Okay, so move to another target. Now I told you I had another optic that I took down, which was a red dot by Nortac, and I told y'all let my son take a couple shots. I threw that on there after we had the fun. I didn't really get to shoot it too much. I took 2 shots, and it does sit a little low. So these are actually my 2 shots here. Now I'm aiming dead center, so I let my son take some shots, and these are all his at the bottom cross here. And it seemed that it was hitting low, and this wasn't sighted in. This was just right out the box mounted. It was hitting a little low. So I let my son get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it was probably 15, a half a mag. Oh yeah, plus my 2, 15. Yeah, so 15 shots. And I just threw it on there, let him get a couple shots, couple kicks and giggles, and it was hitting low. And this was at the 50. This target was placed at the 50. I picked it up. I said, let me take a couple shots because I seen it was low, and I wanted to see if it was him or was it just hitting low. And my 2 shots are right here at the 50, using the Nortac red dot sight, red dot optic. So I'm gonna go ahead and sight that in as well. It's pretty constant across the board, as you can see, and that was the target for that. And like I say, you put several rounds through it, and really hasn't stretched it out and see what the capabilities are. But just off of those 2 shots, how group tight the groups are and what it's doing, I'm pleased with it. And like I said, especially considering I even sighted it in. That was right out the box. That was the replacement scope that I took down for a range day, and it failed. I turned it on. It wouldn't come on. I put a new battery in, Energizer battery, and it still didn't come on. And like 4 or 5 rounds into it, I left it on. Just was using my irons, and it came on for like 2 shots, went off, never came back. So it could be like a loose connection or something like that, or the battery came unseated. It could be a couple of things, but got the replacement, and this is the replacement. So moving on to the next target, told you that I got a red dot. RMR red dot for my pistol, which is the UTG OP3 micro low profile pistol and rifle red dot, which I've showed you the videos on and having installed. Now this is what I'm speaking to. All right, so guys, now you see this. You'll see the videos where I was letting my son shoot. I took a couple shots. These are my 2 shots here. But for me to get these 2 shots, I had to put my red dot off the paper. Like, I'm aiming like here. And this is only at like 15 feet. Like at maybe 15 feet. I'm aiming here to hit dead bullseye. Now, so I had my son, to give you a better idea, I started having him aim at the top line here, at this line right here, which is the top of the bullseye. And when he was aiming there, to show you the point of aim with the point of impact, where I was telling you the elevation wouldn't come down on the red dot, the viewing window, to put the red dot right here, the rounds were hitting right here. It was hitting like 8 inches. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, it was hitting like 8 inches. Point of aim, point of impact. So far as if you put the red dot, when we put the red dot, had my son put the red dot in as well. I put the red dot dead center at 15 yards. The shit was going below the target into the berm. And at that close distance of like 15 feet, you should only see a deviation of like this much, not that. And like I said, that was due to that optic, the elevation. It wasn't coming down low enough, and that's, I think, going to be a quick fix. I'm going to have that repaired as well. But this is basically what was achieved by my son shooting offsets. Not offsets, excuse me, hiccups, guys. Holdovers. For my son to even get any of these, he is aiming. Now, mind you, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A 12 by 12 target. So he's aiming up here to hit. He's aiming like up here above the target. See, it's a paper. So he's aiming like up here to hit here. When he aimed at then I start having him aim at the top here, and that's these down here. So, like I said, it was like 8 inches. So I just let him get his little kicks and giggle off on it, and just let him have a little fun. Like I say, for me to put these two in the bullseye here, I am aiming about 3.5, 4 inches off paper above holdovers to hit here at that close distance. It should be, if I'm aiming at that distance, if the elevation was correct, if I was aiming here at that distance, the bullet should land about here. It's showing about 1.5 inch deviation at that distance, and that's just because of the offset burl to optic. At best, it should be about this, not to aim here and hit here. You know, to aim at the zero and hit down here. And like I kept saying, that's because, like, say, this is the optic window. Say this is the optic here, the viewing glass. The red dot elevation was only coming down in that window. So say this is the red dot viewing window. The red dot from out of view, which is right here, like it's out of view, to bring it in view with the elevation dialed all the way down, it was only about here in the window, top of the window. But it actually needed to be down about this far down in the window, which would close that up. So, there that is right there. But you can see his son didn't do too bad. He grasped the concept of the holdover pretty well, because he got to see the impact. Like, because first couple of shots he was just pointing. I think the first couple of shots he didn't even hit paper, and he was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" Because the first shot he's aiming dead center, and this not even is hitting about 3 to 3.5 inches below the target, and so I had to explain to him about this optic's not operating properly, but the holdover is what we're going to have to do if you want to use it. I didn't have my iron sight, so he could still shot the front sight post if he chose to, and I was telling him, look, all right, cool. At this distance, you're going to have to hold about 4 inches over to hit bullseye, and that's ridiculously crazy. And so he was getting the understanding, if when he was holding, dead center, he was missing. So I had him come up here, but not even missing, not even making the paper. So I had him come up here, and he could see his impacts down here. So he understood that, okay, they were pretty low. And so then we eventually start walking it up. Like these, this one here, we start having them hold here and hold here. And that's to get these down here. and then the ones we're holding, have them hold a little off paper to hit here, to hit these here, and so on and so on, and start walking them up, so give them an idea. But that's that optic, like I say, that's nothing but an elevation knob, and that thing is going to be true and do what it do. But hey, there's that video, guys. Proof's in the pudding. So this is with the pistol red dot, and you know, mind you, this is a 13-year-old kid that's never shot before. You know, with my holdovers, you see my 2 shots, boom, boom, with my holdovers. But at that distance, you shouldn't have to hold over. It should be point of aim, point of impact, in a deviation of maybe an inch at best at 15 feet. Excuse me. So this is with the Nortec. Like I told you, it ran low. Those are my 2 here. So just a quick adjustment on that, and at the 50 works well. This is my tactical scope at the 200. Once again, like I say, 1 to 2 clicks to the left, and I'll go ahead and clean that up and be able to put them all up in here for the most part. There it is at the 100 with the tactical scope. And there's my son doing his thing. So there it is, guys. Had a great Labor Day weekend. Spent with my family at the range. Like I said, had so much fun. We went back for the second day. So 2 days over Labor Day weekend, my son got out. First day, he shot the AR. The second day, he shot the AR as well as the pistol. Brought a couple other toys out, but he was a little intimidated by them. It was a little too much, so he didn't shoot those. So, but that's okay. I had fun. It's a learning process, and more than anything else, it's bonding. It's time spending with your family. You know, valuable time with your family, doing things, something that you love, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, y'all. Get on up out of here. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Later.